All right, let's talk about something that's, absolutely critical for every beekeeper, but also one of those things that causes a ton of confusion: painting your beehive. Now, I know it might seem like it's just about making things look nice, but trust me, it is so much more than that. It's one of the most important things you're going to do for your bees and for the hive itself. So first things first, you've got to get this one idea lodged in your brain. A beehive isn't just some wooden box we stick in the backyard. It's a home, a house, and just like your house, it needs protection from the elements, the rain, the sun, you name it. And that paint, that's its shield. And when you really look at it, it's kind of wild how similar they are. Our homes have entrances, so do hives. We need ventilation, so do they. We have insulation, they have insulation. And the big one, we need a weatherproofed exterior. That paint job is the hive siding, its roof, its whole defense system. And look, the stakes here are really, really high. If you just leave that wood unfinished, you're basically asking for it to rot and fall apart. Your investment could be gone in just a couple of seasons. But, and this is the cool part, if you do it right, if you keep that hive protected, it can literally last for generations. No joke. So how do we get it right? Well, to figure out the solution, you've got to understand the real problem. And here's the twist. The biggest threat to your hive's paint job doesn't actually come from the outside. Nope, it comes from the moisture that the bees create inside the hive. This brings us to the #1 mistake pretty much everyone makes at some point. As the expert Paul Kelly points out here, we see a tough oil-based paint and think, yeah, that'll be super durable. But what it actually does is create a trap. All that humidity from the bees gets stuck in the wood, and it literally pushes the paint right off from the inside out. The technical name for this problem is a vapor barrier. It's just a fancy way of saying it's a layer that moisture can't get through. And while that sounds protective, on the outside of a beehive, it is a complete disaster. All that humidity has to go somewhere, right? So it soaks into the wood, makes the paint bubble and peel off, and even worse, it causes the wood to rot. Okay, so before we go any further, let's get the golden rule out of the way. Rule #1, you never, ever paint the inside of the hive. Seriously, the bees are absolute pros at interior design. They'll coat the walls with something called propolis, which is this amazing natural resin that seals everything up and keeps germs out. Just let them do their thing. So, with all that in mind, let's get to the good stuff, the solution. We know we have to avoid that vapor barrier, so what's the magic formula? What we're aiming for is a finish that's tough on the outside, but also breathable. Something that lets all that moisture from inside escape. And here it is, the secret sauce. It's a simple 2-step recipe. You're going to start with 1 coat of an oil-based primer. This stuff is amazing at sinking into the wood and creating a solid foundation. Then, and this is the key, you follow that with 2 coats of latex exterior paint. Latex paint is porous. It breathes. It creates this perfect skin that keeps the rain out but lets the moisture from inside escape. Okay, so now we've got our recipe down. We know exactly what paint to use. But what's the quickest, easiest way to get the job done, especially if you've got a bunch of hive boxes to paint? Well, there's a fantastic little trick that will save you a ton of time. Check this out. First, you just stack all your hive boxes up and put something heavy on top so they don't wiggle around. Second, grab a brush and just quickly hit those little recessed handholds. And third, here's the magic. Use a long-handled paint roller to do all 4 sides of the whole stack at once. It is so fast, so easy, and you get a perfect even coat. And of course, always check the directions on the paint can for how long to wait between coats. Don't skip that part. And now for my favorite part, the fun part. You've done the hard work, the hive is protected. Now you get to pick the colors. And this isn't just about making your bee yard look awesome. The colors you choose can actually help your bees out. So here's what you need to know. First, try to avoid super dark colors because they'll soak up the sun and can make the hive too hot. More importantly, if you have a few hives, use different colors. The bees actually use color and shapes to find their way home, so giving each hive a unique look helps them get back to the right front door. This is your chance to get creative, so seriously, go wild with it. And that brings us right back to where we started. See, when you understand the science and use the right stuff, you're not just slapping paint on a box. You're weatherproofing a home. You're protecting that amazing colony inside and making sure your gear lasts for years and years. So the only question left is, how are you going to protect yours?